Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a C.A.T.S, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow podcast.
Hey, all you cats, it's Kristen, and I'm here with Tracy Roesch Williams. Hi, Tracy.
Hello, Kristen.
So I'm very intrigued by this whole idea of your cabin in the woods. You have to tell me, this looks very modern. Where is this cabin?
And I say it's a cabin in the woods. My parents came to visit and they're like, this is a pretty nice size house. We are in Anchorage, Alaska. I moved up here 26 years ago from Orlando, Florida.
Okay, that is such an epic change. You have to at least fill us in on a few of the big differences between Orlando and Alaska.
Oh boy, fresh air, mountains. I got to get sober here 25 years ago. And I haven't had to move since. I moved quite a bit before that, trying to find myself.
Aw, well, congratulations. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I
Thank you.
made a big change like that too. I used to live in St. Louis, and 6 years ago, my husband and I relocated to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it's beautiful and it's so gorgeous out. There's no light pollution. It's very peaceful. So I do really believe, Tracy, that your environment plays such a big role. And I think we all have different frequencies and places we like to live. So when you can click into that, like a lot of other things line up.
That and the fact that we have a place in Mexico helps.
Oh,
It's
that's
very
helpful too.
dark here now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Yeah. You need that little bit of sunny weather and ocean balance. So one other question, like, do you see a lot of wildlife there? I mean, have you seen bears and
So right outside my window, which I'm putting my shade down now in case one walks by, there's moose, there's bear. We had it's moose rutting season, mating season right now. And we had like 7 of them hanging out right outside my window for the last 3 weeks.
I would love that. That's amazing. I'm just curious, not everybody has been to Alaska. And
Yes.
so that's amazing. So you're an author. Tell me a little bit about your books.
Oh, thank you for asking. One of my books is a vision journal by Alaska Tracy. I sometimes go by Alaska Tracy as well. And it complements vision mapping framework that I've created. So it has prompts on how to meditate and write and get really clear with your visions and bring them to fruition. And the second one is sort of in sync with my life and the business that I do. It's from Eddie, the dog, who is a rescue pit bull corgi. It's his story from his point of view, and it's on abandonment and learning how to trust and love and live a really wonderful life. So it's called Eddie's Journey.
So I had a corgi named Harry, a
Oh,
cardigan Welsh corgi, and he was very determined. So I can only imagine a pit bull corgi blend. Oh my
he was
God.
65 pounds. And
Wow.
I'll show you a photo of him after. Eddie's Journey. He's on Amazon. 65 pounds on corgi legs. And he passed in July at almost 16 years old.
Wow. Oh, I bet that was that sad.
Yes. Sounds like you and I have a lot in common.
Oh, absolutely. So let's circle back. I love
Yes.
this whole thing about vision mapping. I'm really into what can you write out, especially in your own handwriting. And it's funny looking back, I have notes and like everything I've ever written out in my own handwriting has totally come to pass. It's amazing to me how powerful that is. In fact, you got to be careful. It's so powerful. Be careful what you ask for, right?
Sometimes when my little nasty depression clicks in, I'll be thinking negative thoughts and I'll say them out loud. And my husband's witnessed so many of them come true. And he'll stop and say, you better watch what you're saying because he's seen it. I mean, and it's not woo woo, right? It's what we put out comes back to us. What we're focusing on comes back to us.
It's so real. I think that we underestimate the power of it. So, sometimes when I listen to my husband say stuff or I say stuff, I'm like, I better go back and cancel and delete that, because it is, even if you're in just a little bit of a slump, or, you're frustrated about things, you always have to stay on track with what your visions are, because I think we really can't afford the luxury of feeding anything else.
I believe that it's so true. And I walk almost every day when I'm here. And you can imagine the darkness gets really difficult. And I have to dig deep within to go outside and move. And then my perspective changes. And I remember to keep going and to keep moving forward.
So this is an Alaska question again. So if
Yes.
you're out walking and it's dark, I mean, do the animals come up to you, like the moose, or have you seen bears on this walk? I mean, I'm curious about
Yes.
that.
So I've had a couple encounters early on when I moved up here. I was super naive, and I had some moose walk right up to me. And I don't know, I was fearless, I was young. And over the years, I've learned a lot of respect for them. And recently, during the rutting season, we're 700 feet from the ocean. So just down the hill, Kristen, is the ocean from us.
Oh my
And
God.
so we're up in the woods. We're 15 minutes from Anchorage, downtown Anchorage.
Wow.
And I was walking I had Chancey, I train her, at a field, and this big bull with this huge rack just comes out of nowhere, and he's moving for us. He is just, and there were 3 cars in the parking lot, and I ended up putting her in some lady's van with 3 kids. And the lady and I stood there, and he walked by us, I mean, maybe 10 feet from us, and his energy. Oh, it was so powerful. And I have been charged. Chancey saved my life once from a moose that was coming at me. So you have to be diligent. I carry a whistle. They don't like whistles. And I carry bear spray. I stay out of the woods. We've just started going back in the woods across the street from our house this week. I know the bears are still up, but they've seen me. I've seen them before. I'm pretty loud. I'm small but mighty.
Are these grizzly bears or black bears?
Both. The black bears can be worse than the grizzly, but they really don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
And we have a pack of coyotes because people have chickens up here, which is weird because I don't know. Anyways, so the coyotes eat the chickens, and the coyotes attract the wolves.
Wow.
I'm
sorry. It's fascinating life. We have coyotes here and bobcats, and they're all over my neighborhood. I mean, they're just like right outside we have a little wall, and I can't let the cats outside because of that. But wow, what an amazing life you've set up for yourself. I mean, I think one of the things that like sticks out for me as we're talking is that you gave yourself permission to do something radically different, and it changed everything for the better.
It did. And that's, I was reading over your questions, and I was preparing to answer
those in a second.
each question. And I was thinking it's so much about our minds and the power of our minds. I'm almost 57 years old, and I just did my first triathlon in the spring.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I fell into my husband's arms at the end, and all I could say was, holy cow, the power of our minds. It's amazing. And it's so easy to forget that.
I think it is important to remember that we really are the drivers of our own experience, our own reality. We're our own manifestors. I do believe that when we're born, we each have that free will choice, even though we may feel like we don't have free will choice. It's just part of our divine expression of who we are. And the sooner you harness that and recognize that you have your own intrinsic power, your life does start to flow in a direction that I think is more in alignment with your purpose and who you're supposed to be during this lifetime.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You are listening to the Big Meow podcast, empowering women entrepreneurs to share their voices, make an impact, and transform the world in a positive way. Sponsored by Orange Cat Content Marketing Agency. Yeah, what's something that has happened to you recently, and how did you overcome it? Because, really this show is about women helping other women with challenges and situations and opportunities in our lives. So what's some little bit of wisdom that you want to share?
What comes to mind is a big one, and I don't know that I really want to share it.
Oh,
So I'm gonna share it because it might help somebody. I have been in business for almost 24 years and morphed into coaching and consulting, more so coaching in the last 4 years. And it hasn't been growing as fast as I would like. And I did a high-level coaching last year and spent a lot of money. And I live with a finance guy who I borrowed money from us. And we had the talk. Trace, you're not paying what you said you would pay. And I lost it and I freaked out, and he's great. He just kind of looked at me and kind of walked away. wow, that's your stuff. You know how to deal with it. You've got the tools. And it centered me back around to my vision map and doing the work. There's no shortcuts. And I don't know why I and the people that I work with and the people I know in life continue to think there's a shortcut to get to somewhere that we want to be. And so it's been great. It's really connected me closer to my husband, and I was able to apologize quickly and get to work. And maybe it's a side hustle I need. Maybe there's somebody else that's a coach that I can help, or like, it's really forced me to dig deep again and circle back to my own vision and do the work.
I'm so glad you shared that. I mean, I have to tell you, it happens for all of us in our own business. I've been doing my own coaching consulting business. I have an agency, almost 20 years, and things have changed. Things after the pandemic have changed. Business has changed. The way you get clients has changed. And I have had to find myself going back and freshening up, retraining myself, going through different things, reorganizing, writing new funnels, changing the way I do business. And I've had a lot of work. I mean, it's been so much work this year, kind of redoing it all. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much work. And, it's interesting because there's also that intersection of reflection. Is this still what I want to be doing? Right. So I'm having that as well, as like, is it time for another reinvention? I've been doing this for a long time and have had a lot of really amazing success. But then there's this other question of, well, who do I want to be now? And my kids I have 4 children. One's a stepdaughter and 3 are my own biological children. And one just graduated from law school and she just got her first position yesterday. I have a son who's in graduate school, but he's going on with his life. So I only have like really one left who's like almost finished with college. And it's like, gosh, I'm not raising these young adults anymore. Like I can go back to maybe things that I'm more passionate about or aligned with that maybe I put on the side when, to be more of a breadwinner when you're supporting all these people. And so it's like, do I still want to be doing this? Right. There's just, I don't know. And I think that's what's important here is to give yourself permission to do the soul searching and say, am I even still on the path? Do I still hold a vision for this?
And to look out there and see what's out there.
Right.
There's quite a few little fun side hustles that I'm going,
yeah,
could I do? That might kind of be fun. I started a little Poshmark store because I have all this stuff that I was donating left and right.
Right.
One of my friends was like, do you know who you're donating to? They're making a ton of money. They're not helping the community.
Right.
So, a lot of doing the work and in the house, doing the dishes and doing
Right.
and being quiet about it. Like, I have a really great life. Like, do the
Yeah.
work.
No, I think it's an interesting thing is part of this, and I love this because I think it lines up with your vision mapping, is giving yourself permission to take a pause and to look at kind of the pushback you're getting from things in your environment, things that are working, things that aren't working that used to work. It's like, I mean, when I was my younger self would just push through everything. I just would push through everything. I was like, okay, I'm going to push through this, push through that. But where I'm at now, and you and I are really in the same space, is I'm like, do I want to put the energy into pushing through, or do I just more want to be and just really pay attention to where the signs are? And it leads me. And it's really funny when you start doing that, the universe is actually pretty crystal clear in its communication. I don't know if you've noticed that, Tracy, but I've noticed it.
Well, I was asking my husband, what do you think I should? Because I'm like, maybe I could be an Instacart shopper and he's like, and he was so cute. Because he knows details are not my thing. I'm dyslexic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't work for. So he kind of casually said, well, they make a lot of money when they're like hustling, the hustle and I thought, oh my God, like sorting all those groceries you know, I said, what do you think I should do on the side? And he said, why don't you ask God? And I just stopped. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And I think for me, God is nature. God is like whatever God you have, Buddha, Hindu, whatever God you have, to lean into and to turn everything over to and continue to do the work. Like I used to, before sobriety, think God, please help me, give me this, give me that. And I'd sit around waiting. And I forget God is a verb.
Right. I love that. God is a verb. I just feel like that's so true. And that when we actually ask, we can get clues and things will literally show up right in front of us. And I'm like, gosh, this is so profound. And so I agree with you. I think a lot of it is about putting that request out there and then really, really paying attention to what's happening, because change, especially when you get to a certain point in your life, it's not easy. It's not like an intuitive thing. Oh, I really need to pivot right now or reinvent. It's kind of like it's this process, right? Where you start to move or turn. And you do have to put the action and the work in to get to whatever that new destination is. You may get a clue that falls in your lap, but you still have to take the other steps to get the traction and momentum for that change to really anchor in.
It's not sitting around waiting for it to.
Yeah,
and
that doesn't work.
No, I forget still. And that's that quick where, and I think all of us do, right? I mean, I see it on social media. I saw somebody today post about ending up in the hospital from over exertion with their online business. And yet it was a click to hear more and how, so she was using her story to sell and it was icky.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
You're like, you haven't figured out the balance. I know there's some part that's the whole thing about social media. And we won't even go into that today,
yes.
Is I just think, it's just this big, like, bleh about all this stuff. And I don't know. I'm not so sure. I feel like there's just a lot of negativity and that we really need to, just again, circling back to what we talked about, just be the keeper at the gates of our words, of our vision, of what we want to manifest, the type of people we want to attract to work with, the new things that we want to unfold. Tracy, I feel like these are all such powerful reminders for us. I feel like you and I could talk for a really long time, but I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Big Meow. This is my vision about helping women share their stories and insights with each other to just give ourselves support. I think that we're really lacking that community that maybe we all used to have. We're all kind of in our little silos, but we still have a lot of wisdom to share with each other.
Yes, I agree. I so agree.
Where can we find you?
Tracy Roesch Williams.com, and that's TRACY. Well, you'll put it in the show notes, right?
I will. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Or if you Google Alaska Tracy, I pop up all over. I did
I
really
love
good
Alaska
marketing
Tracy.
that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm very curious about your whole life. So thank you for sharing all of those details.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you.
Yeah, me too, Tracy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for authentic connections, business mentorship, and a supportive community? Join C.A.T.S Network. Thank you for listening to the Big Meow podcast. Please subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with your community.